We are in the heart of the Gulch. My name is Tony Mendoza, your host, and today, oh boy, today we got someone from Texas. I'm going to give that an applause right there because I love meeting people from Texas. You've seen her on The Voice. You've seen her at CMA Fest, where practically you've seen her everywhere. Not only that, she writes from the heart. She is super talented, super gorgeous. We got RaeLynn Davis in the building.
Hey, how we doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing good.
I like that you said RaeLynn Davis. That's so sick.
Well, do you prefer to just go by RaeLynn?
No, it's like, that's just sick. Like, it's just RaeLynn, but my last name is Davis.
Hey,
so
well, you know what? I love that you're from Texas.
Yes.
And
Baytown, born and raised.
I've been watching so many interviews lately of you. And what I'm trying to make sure that we get down to is because I don't let anyone pass in here without talking about Texas. So talk about Baytown, Houston area.
It's so funny though. I was on a tour and we were traveling all around Europe, and they'd be like, "Where are you from?" And a classic Texan, we don't say, "Oh, from the United States." I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Texas." You know, it's like,
absolutely,
we are so proud to be from Texas. But yeah, so I grew up in Baytown, which, if you don't know where Baytown is, I mean, it depends on how fast you're driving, but like 45 minutes from Houston. My dad has a tire shop in Houston right off McCarty Road. My mom helps out with a church in Baytown. But Baytown is like, it smells like shit, but it's home to me. You know, it's a lot of chemical plants.
That's
a lot
what
of
it
hardworking
is. Yep.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite thing about growing up in a blue collar town like Baytown is everybody really does work hard. And everybody's, dad had a long change. They'd be sleeping at night, working all morning, like just, and I just remember, some of my, like all my friends today in my life were my friends from Baytown. And I think the one thing that I really enjoyed about growing up in a town like that is, listen, it was a little sketch sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
It made me have a lot of grit, a lot of sass. The cool thing about where I grew up too was there's a lot of country music, but there's all kinds that live in Baytown, and it was just really cool just to be around a lot of different people. But yeah, I grew up in church. I grew up singing every Sunday. We took Mondays off. Mondays were the day off because, Sunday's the big production. And then Tuesday night we'd be there for, women's meeting or men's meeting. Wednesday was always church. Thursday was youth group. Friday was cleaning up for Sunday. And then Saturday was off. And then Sunday was game time. But I will say my family, they all still live there. I have family in Baytown. I have family in Midland.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Midland.
Oof. Midland. Oof. I know. It's like the desert. I have a sister in San Antonio, and then one of my brothers, he lived outside of Austin, but he's moving back to Baytown. So all my family lives in Texas.
I'm curious though. So you represent Baytown so hard. Shout out to that. But you represent Baytown so hard that I'm surprised that when listening to all the interviews, I'm surprised that you don't speak too much on saying like you're from the Houston surrounding areas. I'm so used to people saying that when they're from like outside of a major city. Because like
Houston's different than Baytown. Like, I don't know. Like, I love Houston. Don't get me wrong. But Baytown's where I was most of my life. We used to go to the Galleria. It was a big deal to go into Houston as a kid. But to me, of course I'm proud to be, from Houston, whatever. But Baytown's where I was raised. That's what I'm going to talk about.
Absolutely.
And it's a really big city, and it's a small town feel because I really do believe everybody kind of knows each other. And I have one of my sisters lives in Mount Bellevue now, and if you kind of know where Mount Bellevue is like a suburb of Baytown, I would say. Like everybody now they just stay in Mount Bellevue because it's gotten so big. But but Houston's awesome. I like Houston, but it's not. I'm never gonna be like, I'm from Houston.
Well, you know what? I love it though, because you're representing Baytown. I love that. Now,
absolutely.
One thing I'm curious about is that you moved to Nashville, almost 10 years ago, right?
11 years ago.
11 years ago. I'm curious because you've made roots here.
Yeah.
You started a family here.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know, where do you consider home now?
Here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not a Texan, once a Texan, always will say that I'm from Texas no matter what.
I will say a part of me did want to drive to Texas just so and my daughter would be a 10th generation Texan. No, she's 9th generation Texan. I'm 8th. Just because that kind of broke my heart that she's a Tennessean.
I know
you know, just a little bit for my, my Texas heart. But I love Texas, and I think eventually I want to have a place there. Me and Josh have talked about it. Just, Wimberley, the hill country we love. But
I was just there. I love that place.
It's just so
love
beautiful.
the hill country.
But, home is where the heart is, and my husband's here. I met my husband here. I used to live at Pine Street Flats.
Of course.
Right above Bar Louie. And that was before the pub was there. So, listen, I ate at Bar Louie so much. I got that macaroni and cheese. Huh? I'd go walk over to Whiskey Kitchen. None of these places
Whiskey
exist.
Kitchen,
R.I.P. Whiskey Kitchen. Back when it was good.
Yes,
I used to get the aristocrat wings, the fried pickles every freaking week. Like, it was awesome. Like, I was living it up in the Gulch. And the Gulch wasn't like it is now. It was like, it was cool, but it wasn't as crazy as it is now. It wasn't like there was maybe 2 shops down there.
The development here
has been nuts. Like, even in 11 years.
Oh, last year I couldn't have people in here because of the construction around here.
It's completely changed. But so yeah, I moved. So I was coming back and forth to Nashville to write, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay here for a month. My friend had an open room, and I was like, hey, can I rent this room out for a month? She's like, yeah, absolutely. And then I just loved it. And then I met my husband, and I was like, okay, I don't really want to leave him. Oh, I don't want to leave Nashville. We were dating.
Yes.
And I remember calling him and be like, hey, I'm moving to Nashville. And he was like so excited. And then we broke up like a month later. So that sucks, but it was what it is. We're married now. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so I decided in that moment that I wanted to live in Nashville. And so then she lived at Velocity.
Okay. I know exactly where that is.
And Pine Street was just opening up. And so I moved over there. I got like a cute little studio apartment. Then I realized I had way too much crap. So I was like, I need a bigger apartment. So then I got a full 1-bedroom. I just had to have a door to shut the door to the chaos. Cause it's like, even my life now, like the common areas are clean. My room is a disaster. It's just like, and we get upset about our husband leaving up the toilet seat when every time I leave, makeup's everywhere. Like, it's just so classic.
Thank you for it. You know what? You see it though.
It's hilarious, even though my husband does not leave at the toilet seat. He's an angel. But so then I moved apartments, and then we had a huge freeze. This was years ago. And my friend Demi, who's in the room with me,
You're talking about the freeze of 2020, right?
No, this is before that. No, way before that. And Pine Street Flats, it was all over when they came out. We were the quickest built building ever, blah, blah, blah. Like, we did it. And I was like, that makes me a little nervous, but okay, cool. The pipes above me bursted. Yeah. I walked in. Okay, so I'm 19. No, I'm not 19. I was like 19. I walk in because the big thing went out, like, make sure your apartment's okay. I ran home. My Chihuahua at the time, who's still alive, Dolly, was on the couch shaking. Poor thing. Well, Chihuahuas always shake, but like extra shaky. Okay.
I'm still laughing because I love Dolly as the name.
Yeah, Dolly. And there was like almost 6 inches of water in my apartment. The water was coming out the light sockets. I was opening up, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, this is crazy. So then it ended up being an undercover blessing. I moved from the Gulch to Green Hills, and I lived in Green Hills for like 4 years, and then that's when me and Josh got married, and then we moved.
Love Green Hills area, but I mean,
Green Hills.
The Gulch, like you were saying, has been changing every day. Oh my
gosh.
But what I'm curious about is when you made that transition to Nashville, right? From Baytown, Texas, you realized really quickly that in Nashville, even then, since the beginning of Nashville, really, there's been a amazing, talented, crazy talented people when it comes to not only country music, all types of music. There's a shout out to Jelly Roll, who was able to make that transition too. Yeah. Now, was it a little scary in the beginning because so many people had so much talent and they were well seasoned in performing and everything?
Oh, absolutely. I never wasn't like intimidated. I just always wondered if I was good enough, you know? But I think every artist, if you don't feel that way, then you're in the wrong industry, because you should always be wanting to get better. You should always want to strive to be a better artist, to be a better songwriter, to really dive into what makes you vulnerable. And I think one thing for me is when I was on The Voice, so I was on The Voice in 2012 and
season 2.
Season 2, man, I was an OG. I just went back.
What is it at? 21 now? 22 now?
No, season 23 they just finished.
Gosh.
Yeah, Blake did 23 seasons.
But you started really young though.
Yeah.
You grew up, and that's what I kind of want to talk about, but let's keep going on The Voice.
Yes. So anyways, one thing that Blake told me, he said, you have a very unique voice and a very unique writing style. Stick to what makes you different. And so that's what I did. And I went into these rooms, and not all of these. I listened to some of my songs, and I'm just like, what the hell was I thinking? What phase of life was I in when I wrote this? But one thing I can say is I was always unique, and I was always different, and I always looked at life differently. And when I see myself now, I'm just grateful that I really did stick to that. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was finding my group of people that I trust, and going from Baytown and having friendships since I was, 9, 10 years old, 11, to going to a new city. And I don't meet a stranger. I could be the best friends with a wall. But it's not about that. It's about finding true people that are going to be with you through every season. And it was like, I quickly realized, people would just like you if you could do something for them. And then if you couldn't do anything for them, they wouldn't want to be your friend anymore. Or that part was navigating friendships was hard for me. But I always I felt super blessed and fortunate because I was really welcomed into this community with open arms. The songwriting community.
That's what I want to talk about, was that songwriting.
Yes.
The songwriting. So one thing that I'm curious about this, did Blake actually help you out with finding your pathway through the songwriting? Because one thing I can say from listening to your music is that you put your heart and soul
Thank you.
in so many of your songs.
Thank you.
And you're uniquely yourself.
Yeah.
And when you put those writing styles into how hard is it to make that kind of music? So
Blake, he helped me with a lot. I would play him new songs that I wrote, but before The Voice, I was already songwriting. I was going back and forth to Nashville a little bit, for a year. And then because I auditioned for The Voice in Nashville when I was here writing. So I met a girl, or I met a woman when in 2011 end of 2012. And I played her a song that I wrote with my cousin. And she was like, hey, let's demo this song. It was just a guitar vocal. And she goes, I'm going to send it to Nashville to a few of my friends and see if I can get you some rights. She's like, just so you know, I don't know how many you're going to get. You might get one. We're sending it out to 10 different people. And she said, so don't get your hopes up. You're still a new writer, but I feel like you have a lot of potential. And I was like, okay, cool. That sounds fun. I think I was 16 or 17 at the time. And so we do this demo. Oh my gosh. This is before it doesn't matter. I was young.
Yes.
So
got it.
I was like,
that's a totally different stage of life.
It's a totally different stage of life. I mean, what do you write about at 16?
Too. That's the thing. Confidence comes
is
in
key.
time.
And so I did this demo. She sent it out, and all 10 of the people wanted to write with me. And she was like, oh, okay, we have something special here. And so I came out here, met with all the classics, ASCAP, BMI, getting, my songs registered. And then I just started writing. And I went to a writing session with, of course, you're going to know her now, Nicole Gallion. And there's a girl named April Jesbray. She's amazing. And so we were all writing. And Nicole had a private audition to audition for The Voice. And I started singing. She goes, why aren't you auditioning for The Voice? And I was like, because I had already auditioned for American Idol and I think it was X Factor, and they X'd my butt. They were like, you are not a Mariah Carey singer. And I was like, okay, I'm not cut out for TV shows.
At the time, though, at the time, it was a completely different style of voice.
And two, you, on those shows, you have to have that belty, I'm going to hit every note voice. And not all of us have that. My favorite artists are artists that are unique, And so anyways, I was at this write and she was like, let me give you my audition. I was like, I'm not going to take your audition. And so she was able to get another one. So I took her spot. I went and auditioned in Nashville and I literally got a golden ticket right away. And they said, we're going to call you. You're going to end up going to California in 2 weeks. I was like, what?
Oh, that deserves an applause.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And I was so blown away because, faith is a really important thing to me. I believe in
Well, we're
Jesus
going to touch on that for sure.
and like all those things. And so I would pray every single day, and I still pray this prayer every day. I pray that God would open the doors he wants open and shut the doors that he wants shut. And, you know, at the end of the day, we can all try to make things happen for ourselves. You know, I can tell you're a man that does it all. Like you can, you know, you want to make everything happen. I'm the same way. Like I try to control everything in my life. I'm a little bit of a control freak. But at the end of the day, all you can do is work hard and trust the Lord. And he will take care of you.
He has a path, and that's the thing. It's you have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself, and so whenever I pray, I'm a Catholic, and I go to a couple churches here. I skip around a lot. I don't know why, but one thing that I always tell myself is, you know, I don't ask him for opportunities.
No,
I don't ask him for that. What I ask God is, I ask, just give me the strength to let me go through whatever opportunities come my way. I'm not a fan of when people pray, they pray for something. Yeah. I don't pray for anything. I pray for just give me that strength, give me that power to go through it. But now I'm curious, because going back to that writing style, I mean, what is your writing process like that so many people, I'm sure, strive to do?
First of all, my mind never stops. I'm always thinking. I can get ideas by conversations, things that happen, a quote. I mean, I think when you have a creative brain, you can't really shut it off. And so for me, when I'm writing, I'm always writing. You know, I'm always jotting things down.
Is it just like a title maybe?
Yeah,
or
it's a title, or it's a melody. It's a feeling. I mean, there's sometimes I walked into a write. I'm like, listen, I don't know what this is, but this is what I'm feeling today. And I want to write a song that, you know, encapsulates this.
You can't just go now. Question. Can you not just go into a room? Like, for example, a long time ago when I used to record people, I would have them obviously pay for their session. And then right when they're sitting down, that's when they start their writing process. I'm guessing for you, it's a little different. It strikes in most random places. Where's been the most random place that a song or an idea popped up?
Oh my gosh.
Most random. And not talking about the shower, because I don't count.
I mean, there's so many funny things. I mean, like I was getting my hair done one time, and this one girl, she was so feisty, and she like built this whole, you know, business, hairstyle business.
They always are, especially the ones that do the nails.
Oh yeah, she was so feisty in the best way. And she was talking about like her husband, and she was like, I hope it works out, because I'll tell you one thing, I might be broken, but I ain't broke. And she was talking about like if something were to happen, she might be broken, but she ain't gonna be losing her money. And I thought that was hilarious. And then I wrote a song called Broke, like after that, like, I might be broken, but I ain't broke. And I was like, had this whole idea of like, you know, if I'm gonna be sad, I'm gonna be sitting on a boat, drinking a beer, like that kind of vibe, right? And so that's, I guess, kind of a general, you know, just kind of where the way my head works.
And what's it like to kind of grow up within the industry, but not like seriously in the industry, like in that sense, but I mean, growing up and being around so many different people that are kind of directing and maybe giving you opinions on what to do with your career, because you started really young.
I mean, I think I had such a great support system. And I think about the young girls or guys that started at my age that didn't have that. And I think that that's where you see the disconnect. But I met my husband at 18, and we got married when I was 21. You know, in the industry, that was not a cool thing. Like, oh, Ray, I mean, this is not going to last, whatever. And it's like, I've been married for almost celebrate 8 years.
You know, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and it should deserve that. I mean, like and being in this industry, they're like, oh, you have to be single to be an artist and all this stuff. And one thing I look back on and I applaud myself on is I never let anybody take away from the full picture that I saw for my life. And that full picture is, I want to do music. I want to marry the one I love. I want to have a family, and I want to do this for a living. And whatever that looks like, I think we all, you know, and it's okay to have goals. Like I have goals of things that I want to reach in my life, and I know that God's going to help me reach those goals. But also I think we get so caught up in, I don't have a number one song, or this person, you know, is not my friend, or how do I get connected in this circle, and all this stuff that we lose sight of all the amazing things that have happened in our career. And we've lost sight of all the things to truly be grateful for. And I think the thing, I've had just an incredible dad and mom and family and husband that have always just made me grateful. And don't get me wrong, there's been times where I've been sad. I mean, we're all human. But in those times, I always think, oh my God, I'm so blessed. I have an amazing family. I have an amazing husband. I have a beautiful daughter now. I get to do what I love.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I get to write music. I get to release music. Like, this is awesome. But growing up in the industry, because I don't want to admit that I grew up in the industry, but I did. I
didn't want to say it either, but I mean, that was the best way to frame it.
I moved here. I moved to Nashville at 18, and I've been here ever since. But I really do think that it's just, it's kind of funny. I feel like a cat that's lived 9 lives here, because my friend groups have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
My perspective has changed a little bit.
The city's changed a lot. But I will say the main thing that, the thing that remains is the songs. I think we are all fighting for real songs being out of this, like coming out of this town, like the real music. Because that's what our fans want. You know, our fans, of course, they like songs about drinking beer and all those things, but they're also going through real stuff, and they want to hear real lyrics and real stories. And that's personally what I've been leaning into is, okay, I'm 29. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm not saying, listen, I have a lot of fun songs about like having a good time or whatever. I love to have a good time. I'm that kind of person. I'm a cool mom, all right? I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom. But I have to remember, my fans are my age. Like, they watch me on The Voice. They're 27, 28, 29, 30. They're married. Maybe some of them, you know, had a really bad situation and they're not married anymore. They have most of them probably have kids, right? And so it's like, where are the artists that are writing for those fans? Like, where? Because I know they're in the same boat as me, you know? And so that's kind of what I've been leaning into is, you know, I for a while I got stuck in the, oh my God, I'm not cool anymore. Or how do I sing about this? Or how do I do this? But then I'm like, no, I need to cater to what I'm good at. And what I'm good at is writing in the moment. And my life is so inspiring to me right now. Being a mom is inspiring. Like, I never thought that I would get the ideas for music like my little girl gives me. I mean, she's constantly inspiring me. And the same with being married. I mean, I always say I want to, like, and it is, I will say you are seeing a change. Like, I feel like the industry is not as bad about like that, but I think it's because people like me, people like Thomas Rhett, like these artists are like, no, I'm going to get married young and I'm going to show you that how my life
changes with me. And it's like, not all of that is bad.
I'm very curious about is your fan base.
Okay.
Now, your fan base, you have an amazing fan base because like you said, they've grown with you. Now, there's so many different outlets now.
Yeah.
TikTok wasn't a thing 3 years ago. Instagram has turned into a picture storytelling thing to now everyone has a business. So where's the mass majority of your fans coming from today? Is it from TikTok? Is it from Instagram?
I would say it's from Instagram. I've had a few like pop off moments on TikTok, but TikTok is such an algorithm thing. Like, you can have one video that has 2,000 views and your next one have 2.3 million. Like it really is a different beast. And I'm just not as in tune with it. That's why, I think the biggest thing that I've learned about it is you just got to put a crap ton of content on it. But Instagram is where I would say most of my fan base is. But even Instagram now has an algorithm. It's like, you know, one of your videos, like one of my like videos will get 1,000 comments and the next one get like 30 or 40. So it's like, it's a very interesting game. I think the best thing is putting out material that is relatable to your fans. That's where I find the most interaction. And like, for my instance, my new song, What's Wrong With That? I released that as a teaser. I just got in the demo back and I was like, damn, I really like this song. I was like, this song is good. It's about, you know, what's wrong with letting a man be a man and, you know, opening your door and buying you flowers and all those things. And listen, I can do all the things by myself, but having a guy do it ain't that bad either.
I fell in love with the music video, by the way.
Oh,
The music video for that song is such it. When you said you're transitioning and you're showing people your life now,
yeah,
that is literally your family put on there, and it's just so amazing. I love it.
Thank you. My daughter is so great on camera. She just kills it. She's such a vibe.
What was the dog? So the dog in the background, that's your dog
that's
as well?
my dog.
Oh my gosh. So there was some
my buddy
scenes.
Cash.
What is it called? Buddy Cash?
No, his name is Cash.
So Cash, there was a scene in there when you're kind of like in the barn and you see a scene of this gorgeous black, what type of dog is it?
Yeah, German Shepherd.
That gorgeous black German Shepherd. Yeah. And you can see that it's so happy in the background. I was like, oh, I bet that's her dog.
Yes, it was a family affair for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But I teased that song and it blew up on Instagram. I mean, like, there's been over 1,200 comments. Or there's like, I think there was over 5,000 shares. Like, it was nuts. And so I was like, well, shit, they spoke. We're putting it out next. And that's the cool thing about being an independent artist is you can do things like that. Like a label, you have to go, have 5,000 people tell you who you need to be. And you're just like, you don't have to worry about that anymore. But so we decided to put the song out, but I had a few other releases coming out before that. So I had to wait. And but the video is so much fun. We shot it at Josh's grandparents' farm outside of Columbia. They're no longer with us, but their farm is still in the family. And so we went there. We shot it. I rented a cute RV, put it in.
I was wondering if that was your RV.
No,
actually.
I wish. It's so cute.
And because it has this 50s style vintage vibe to it, right? With you inside the cart. And but then also you have your amazing husband mowing the lawn.
How hilarious.
Hey, you look hot.
Damn.
I'm not gonna lie. When I see people on a John Deere, man, and when I see someone cutting the yard with their shirt off, I even think like, damn, I want to do that when I get older.
I mean, that's how I got the inspiration for what's wrong with the 6'2" little front porch view and mow my grass, because I've gotten to watch him mow my grass a lot over the years.
Not the push? Never the push?
No, he does the push mower.
Okay, cool.
So, but we were going to bring the push mower. This is a hilarious story. So we were going to bring the push mower to set, but it was raining so bad. My best friend was going to bring down Cash that day because we went to the farm the night before to help his mom with some stuff, and there's no service there. So it's like you have to drive up to the graveyard to get service. So we would drive up to the graveyard. Yeah, it's Tennessee. It's like 20 minutes outside of Columbia, so it's like far. And so anyways, we thought it would be cooler to have a push mower. But she, like, it was raining outside. We were like, don't worry about the push mower. And the zero turn actually looked way better. But it was, and it was so perfect because we were like, go mow these beautiful, like, it was like yellow flowers. And so he's mowing and they're just like going all over. It literally looked awesome on camera. Like honestly, I think being an artist, the best videos are the ones where they're thrown together and you just freaking do it. Like, and those are the ones for me that have always been the best. The ones that have been thought out and over, like, they're not my favorite.
Well, I mean, one thing about being your favorite, and we were talking about fans a second ago, is like, what's been some of your favorite fan interactions? Because like you said, you've had a lot of songs that have actually gone through, what I was doing this for is I was saying that it was like people remix them, recycle them, and then have them in the background of their special moments. Yeah. What's been a special moment with your fans that you've seen from just social media?
Oh my gosh, there's been so many. I would say one that, it was just such a sweet moment. But right when I found out I was pregnant, I was writing on Zoom, and this was big when everybody was writing on Zoom still, due to the pandemic. And I found out that I was pregnant, and I was like 8 weeks pregnant. So like, you don't really want to say you're pregnant until like 12
I'm not sure when it is.
It's like past the first trimester, because that's, that's when you're kind of like in the clear. And so I told the two guys I was riding with, I was like, I'm pregnant. Of course, I'm like crying and stuff. And I had this idea, I always say I became a mom when I saw that pregnancy test hit pregnant. Like in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a mom. Like, and I didn't have a belly yet. I mean, Daisy, I think, was the size of a sprinkle. But in that moment, I was forever changed. And it wasn't just me. It was me and you. It was me and her. And so that's like, and I had the idea, it went from me just being me to me being me and you. Like I had that line. And so, and I didn't know what I wanted to call the song. It's like, I've already met you. But then I went into the studio with Ben Stennis. Oh my God, I love Ben Stennis. Ben Stennis and Drew Kennedy. Love Drew Kennedy. He's a Texas guy. He's so awesome. You should talk to him. He's great. But we were sitting there and we wrote this song called Made for Me to Love. And I wrote it about Daisy. And when I announced that I was pregnant on my birthday 2 years ago, I think it was in 2021, I put that song as the background, and there were so many women that just connected with it and were posting their, stories, gender reveals. I guess some of them had this one girl oh my God, it was so sweet. There was two that really got me. One girl, she had 2 miscarriages, and then she got pregnant with her rainbow baby and was just and so that story made me cry. And then there was another video that was made of a woman that couldn't get pregnant, but she adopted a baby and it was Made for Me to Love. And it's just, I think the coolest thing about social media that we didn't have a long time ago, obviously, is the fact that you can connect with your fans a click away.
Absolutely.
And you can put a song out from your experience and then it relate to thousands and thousands of people. And that to me has been one of the coolest experiences about being an artist is, you write a song from your experience and for you, and then it just completely touches the lives of so many more.
Touches people so much. Yeah. And then, now speaking about going from digital to events, right? So from CMA Fest to The Voice and countless other live experiences that you've had. I mean, what's it like to see these fans in person? Because we all see, for example, I used this analogy the other day. So we all have a bank account and we all have the number in the bank, right? But so few people have seen $20,000 cash, but it's in their bank, right? And they never see it. So it's the same thing for when you look at your fans' perspective. You see the number of fans, you see the numbers of streams that you're getting. But when you go out in public and you stand on that stage and you're singing and you're being yourself and you see all these people singing the songs, what's that feeling like?
It's unlike anything you can ever feel. I mean, I always say, I don't care if it's 20 people, 200, 2,000, 200,000. When you have people that are connecting with your lyrics and they're a good crowd, it's literally the best feeling in the world. I love doing headlining tours. I think it's so much fun because it's all your fans. And I'll never forget my first headlining tour, the Rave Tour. And I played in Columbus, Ohio. It was my first show of the tour. And it was almost sold out. I think there was 900 people in there. And every song they knew, every lyric they knew. They were dancing, they were crying, all the things. And I got off that stage and I was just like, what the hell just happened? That was the best feeling I've ever felt. Because it's, like you said, I mean, it's easy to see people responding to you and stuff like that, but to see them come out, buy the t-shirt, spend time absorbing your music. They know everything about you. They knew about Josh, they knew about my family. And so it's just, it's unlike anything. And I think I still get people that come up to me, and I was getting my nails done and this girl goes, I love your baby. And I was like, oh, thanks, but it's, to me, I mean, some people, I don't know how you can get annoyed with that, because when you put yourself out there, I mean, this is the life that this is the life that we have.
But and also you're putting it out there. So it's that's one thing that I think so many people connect with you is that you're not afraid. There are so many people that are out there that are afraid, musicians and actors, you name it, that are afraid to be themselves. And I think that causes a lot of disconnect for continuing that fan base. And you put yourself out there, but I'm curious about favorite venues in Nashville. There's so many venues in this amazing city. What's been your absolute favorite venue?
I don't think it's there anymore. Mercy Lounge was where I played. One of my first shows that I played, and I loved it. I love Cannery. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Ryman is just classic. Ryman is so awesome. I opened up for Little Big Town at the Ryman years ago. I think it was 2015. And that was one of the coolest experiences. And then I got to come out and sing Love Triangle with them. And I've never.
I love that song, by the way.
Oh my gosh. And imagine Little Big Town's harmonies on it. Like, I bawled my eyes out when I got off stage. It was cool.
Well, CMA Fest is coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
Actually, my gosh, isn't it like in a week or so?
Next week.
My goodness. So, I mean.
Welcome all the people. It's going to be awesome.
Now, I've heard you speak about this. Spike. Hear you speak about this. About being on Broadway, that you like to do a late night drive on. I'm the same way. From when I leave the studio, I'll just walk to Broadway. I don't even need to go to the bars.
Yeah.
Just to people watch.
Yeah.
But you performed at Old Red, right? Mm-hmm. For a little stint.
Yeah, I did. So this was after the pandemic, and I found out I was pregnant, like right when I was about to get back on the road, and I was like, damn it, like I want to be back on the road, but like I'm like big as hell and I'm pregnant. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, and so I had a few shows planned, but I was like, it would be so much fun to do a downtown residency at Old Red every Wednesday night for 6 weeks. Like, how fun would that be? And so I told my idea to my manager at the time, and she was like, let's make it happen. And so we literally did it. And it was the funnest time I've ever had. Like, the show was awesome. The crowds were awesome. It was always packed. And two, I mean, I didn't do many shows. So 2020 happened, and then, I was starting to book stuff, and then I found out I was pregnant. So like, I didn't know how much to book. I didn't know how tired I was going to be. So I was kind of like sad. I was like, damn it. Like, I haven't gotten to be back out on the road again. And so I'm so thankful that we did the residency, because it gave me my confidence back as a mom, as a artist, like to be on stage with my big belly bump and to sing country music on Broadway. It gave me so much confidence that I needed before, going into.
And Broadway's
motherhood.
different too, because talking about CMA Fest coming up, right? So there's a different type of fan base that comes to a Broadway show or just out on Broadway versus, somewhere outside of the Nashville area. So talk about a little bit of what can musicians expect when they come and they play, CMA Fest. What type of fan is that?
The coolest part about Broadway is you actually have different fans every week. It's not like you're playing for the same crowd every week, because I mean, that's why we did a Wednesday night show, because if people were coming in for the weekend, they could fly down a day early and, come to my show. But every week was different. You had people from all over. Obviously, Nashville's a poppin' town. Everybody's coming down here to visit. So every week we had people from different places the crowd was always different. And so I think people really underestimate the fact that Broadway does have, a lot of diversity, a lot of reach. Because so many out of towners are coming, and I got a lot of fans after that little stint we did there. It was fun. I would totally do it again.
And one thing I'm learning about Nashville doing this show, Heart of the Gulch, is that how available or how open everyone is in this city, from musicians to restaurateurs to you name it. There's just so many people here that are ready and willing to talk about their story, unlike any other place. You can go to LA, you can go to New York, but I guarantee you that people are going to have this front. And just like yourself, you're open, you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
And have you always been that way?
I've always been that way.
Yeah. And have you noticed that Nashville, that you can go places and you can meet some of the biggest names in the most randomest of places, but they're still open to collaborating? What's it been like collaborating here?
Oh, to me, it's been awesome. I think, it's like everybody's got each other on speed dial. So it's like, oh, would you want to jump on this song, or is this your vibe? And they'll be like, no, it's not, but you should check out this person or whatever. And so it's been really fun collaborating. I've had a few really cool collaborations. My first record, I had Dan and Shay, and they've been my buddies, man. They're so fun. I'm so proud of them. I'll never forget them headed to go meet with Warner, hopefully they would get signed there, and they were super excited about their meeting. And then now they're of course doing amazing things. And then on my last record, I had Mitchell Tenpenny, who I love Mitchell. Him and his wife are some of my really good friends. And Blake was on my last project with Why I Got a Truck. But I really will say, like, I mean, I've been really fortunate to everybody that I've ever asked to be a part of a song has been very sweet about it. And like wanted to be a part, because we all want to help each other out. We all want to, be a part of somebody's journey. And I think that's what makes Nashville so special, is we all are a family. And so, yeah, it's been fun. I love collaborating with other artists.
Well, speaking of collaboration, we're going to make a quick break real quick, and then we're going to come back to people that want to ask you some questions. You ready for crowd noise?
I love crowd noise.
Let's do it.
Hey RaeLynn, what advice can you give to other musicians that are interested in pursuing the music industry?
They're interested in pursuing the music industry.
Good and bad, pros and cons.
Good and bad. I would say the biggest step is just doing it. Is like putting yourself out there and doing it. And I think a lot of my friends, songwriters, artists that have success today are the ones that just came in here and just started grinding. Singing at rounds, performing on Broadway, just making it happen. I mean, every artist here, most of the artists here, most songwriters, they had normal jobs at first, and then they, just kept writing on the side and making it happen. And then I would say that the cons are just, it's hard to find authentic people. But if you're authentic, I think the biggest thing for me that helped me, and this is what I inspire or try to, instill in other people, is be authentic in every meeting, in every conversation, music, all of it. Because anytime I went to like a coffee or something with, let's say a songwriter or a producer or somebody in the business that could help me, of course we talked about business, but I asked them, how's your family? How's your life? Like, I wanted to connect with that person deeper than what they could do for me. And now all those relationships, they're flourishing because, and I'm not doing that to be fake. I'm doing that because I genuinely care about people. And you have to, if you want to be in this industry, you have to be a people person. Because, that's what it's about. It's about connecting with people, and then you're going to connect with fans. But being authentic and asking people about themselves and making other people feel special, I think is very important, because it'll make you stand out.
What about tough skin?
I would definitely tough skin. You're going to hear, I feel like that's just a given, but maybe I have to say that.
Some people don't know until they're really out there.
You're going to get a lot of no's. I got a lot of no's, but I also got a lot of yeses. And so, but the cool thing about being turned down or being told this or that is it makes you tougher. And when you do get the right yes, it makes it so much sweeter. And a lot of artists that everybody loves today, they didn't have an easy road. Did
it motivate you?
What?
So when you got a no, so for example, me, when I get a no from somebody.
Oh, it motivates me. Absolutely.
And then, so what's been one situation that's happened, don't say anybody's name or anything like that, but where, they did reject or they didn't see the vision you were on.
Yeah.
And it kind of hurt you.
One of my old labels didn't see my vision. I wrote a whole record, had the title and everything, and then I was told that it was vanilla. And then I took that record and brought it to another label and was like, either you put this out or I'm not signing here. And then it was a #1 record on Billboard. So
come on now.
You just gotta, and you know what? That first no, when they told me it was vanilla, I believed it at first. I was like, damn it, is this really vanilla? Like, I don't think I'm vanilla. I think this is sick. I think this record's good. I love Wild
And that's
Horse.
people in your corner. So that's another thing I was going to add to that. So the people in your corner, which is so vital for you to being yourself. How would you, as someone gets successful, so there are a few people that we've had on the show that are just starting to pop off. Shout out to Taylor Austin Die. But how do they not listen to the newcomers that stay closer to your circle, basically?
Yeah, you find the people that you can trust and you stick to that. And, and the ones that will be brutally honest with you. Like, I have some friends, like, well, my previous manager, she'd be open with me. She's like, listen, I don't understand the song, but if you love it, great. But this is my favorite. And you have to have those people around you that are speaking truth into your life. But, there's a difference between somebody dragging you down and somebody just being honest and actually wanting to see you succeed. And I think it's most of the time you'll see, the people that are trying to make you feel like you're not good enough or that you're not talented enough or all those things, those people don't need to be in your life. And so have tough skin, be protective and be authentic.
All right, I love it. Now, let's get on to the second question here we got.
Hey, RaeLynn, what has been the most impactful song you've ever written?
Oh my goodness.
The most impactful song ever written.
I have a few, but I would say the one that I always go to, because it just really laid the foundation of who I was as a songwriter, I think, in this town, and it put me on the map for that, was Love Triangle.
Love Triangle.
And I've had, She Chose Me after that, and Made for Me to Love, and other songs, but Love Triangle was the song that put me on the map in this music grow for songwriting. And I wrote that song. If you don't know what Love Triangle is, it's I wrote that song about my perspective of my parents' divorce and how it felt to be stuck in the middle of the two people that you love the most. And I just think I've had so many fans relate to that song, stop me, tell me their stories. And I wanted to be in country music because of songs like Love Triangle, because of The House That Built Me, I Drive Your Truck, Cowboys Like Us, just those really good country lyrics, songs, and stories, because that's what our fans are.
Which we're starting to lose, though, sadly.
And I think it's coming back. You're seeing it, but we lost it for a while, and I'm loving that fans, that we're giving that the time of day, because it deserves that, because that's what our fans want. And so, but I would say I think my most impactful song, and definitely that's impacted me, is Love Triangle. And still, when I see, and it always happens, every single show, there's always somebody in the crowd that's crying, and I'm always a wreck. Like, it's never, this little girl was singing it, and she wasn't crying, but she knew every single word, and she was holding her dad's hand at my last show that I did in Oceanside, California. And I was just like, I like literally had to.
Yeah,
it does get to you.
Yeah, it does get to you, right?
And now that I have a daughter, and I was thinking about my daughter holding my husband's hand, and it really just goes to show how truly impactful, songwriting and music is. It was really cool.
So I'm going to have 3 more questions here. And one of the questions is going to be, I'm going to talk about the hate in a minute, but I love to talk about favorite experiences on the road. Have you ever seen a favorite sign? Have you ever had one experience where someone may have gave you something that meant so much to them that gave to you?
Oh my gosh, I've gotten so many cool things. I'm having to take 11 years of all this stuff. I mean, this one thing that I got, and I thought it was really cool, but it was like a binder of all my accomplishments. Like, this fan went so deep, and it was like a story. She wrote it into a story, and it was so beautiful, so cute. I'm super crafty, so I love anything like crafts and all that stuff. I think that's so much fun. That's why I'm so thankful to be a mom, because it won't be weird me having a bunch of crafts in my house. I'll be like, heck yeah. But it was just so cool, because I was just like, this girl probably spent hours making this, and it was like one of the coolest things ever. And then I would say another thing that I remember getting is this one fan, I have type 1 diabetes, and this one fan brought me sugar-free chocolate and then a type 1 badass shirt, and I still wear that type 1 badass shirt. So that was really sweet.
It must be so fun to see it all, and to just not only be a part of other people's, that's the crazy thing. Mm-hmm. As a musician, as someone out there in the celebrity eye, right, that you may not even think of it, but you are in someone's life.
Yeah. And
they listen to you daily. I mean, does that kind of freak you out a little bit, that someone is seriously listening to you every day? Maybe that's their go home to work song. Maybe that is their workout song. Maybe that's their drinking song. Yeah. I mean, how does it feel to know that every day someone's listening to your music and you are a part of their life?
Thank you. I still am not quite used to it though. It's so funny too. I didn't know that there was labor playlists. So people put
Really?
Yeah. So they put a playlist together to listen to in the room when they're about to have a baby. And so many people were like, I put Rowdy on my list. I'm like, why are you listening to Rowdy before you have a baby? That's epic. But no, it's cool to be a part of people's lives. And I mean, music, I think we forget music is the soundtrack to people's lives, to their story. And so to be a part of that is really cool. I love it.
And so the way I end the show all the time is I got 2 questions, and one's always about hate.
Yeah.
Being in, the public eye, there are a lot of people that are troll monsters, and they love to say hateful things, and they may not know you. But how do you stay above it? How do you not let it affect you? Is there a certain thing that you do? Is there a process that other people can maybe implement when they get hateful comments?
I think it was, oh my God, what celebrity was it? There was a celebrity, I can't remember his name right now. And he said, I'll figure it out and then I'll eventually say it. But I was listening to him talk, and he said, back in the day, you had your 10, maybe 20, you had your a group of 20 people that you knew. And then you had your close, like 5 or 8 people that you were talked to every single day, right? And really, those are the people you tried to impress. Like, not even try to impress, but they're the people that you cared about what they meant, what the things that you said and all those things. And he said, and now we have a platform. Now we have, in my case, 700,000 people that are in my life, right? That see my stuff. There is no way in God's green earth that I can be on the same page with 700,000 people. There's no way I can
a lot of lives.
Do all, like, there's no way that I can make them all happy. There's no way that I'm not going to offend somebody. There's no way that I can control the way that somebody views me or sees me. The only thing that I can control is the way that I respond to it. And I think the one thing, first of all, maturity. And knowing that, okay, and sometimes, listen, I do pop off on some people.
We all pop off.
And especially when you talk about my kid. Like, if somebody like...
It's off limits.
Like, yeah, that's off limits. But for the people that are being just unnecessary and they're just like in their mom's basement just trolling, like, I love to be like, okay, how about you get out of your mom's basement and go get a freaking real job? You have 0 followers and you follow 2 people and you're just a troll. Like, I don't mind doing that sometimes, but honestly, sometimes they just don't. And at the end of the day, we've got to realize we're in the world. There's good versus evil. There's hate and there's love. And there's some people that are just miserable people, and you can't let miserable people take away your happiness. And I did for a season let those things really fester in my life and let them, get under my skin. And I was like, okay, I'm not being as good of a wife. I'm not being as good of a mom. When I focus on this attention of this person that doesn't deserve my happiness or doesn't deserve this, what is that? They're winning. And so I think it's just about, putting in perspective in the fact that you're never going to impress everybody, and you're never going to make everybody happy. So
as long as you make the ones that you care for the most. And
that's all that matters. I'm not going to apologize to anybody unless it's somebody that I truly love, truly care about. But everybody else, it's like, I ain't got time.
I love it. Now, okay, my last question that I always ask every guest that's sitting down here is, I cannot believe that we're in the middle of 2023.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But, we still got another half of 2023. I'm not sure when we'll release this, but definitely you're going to have 2023. We're all going to experience it. What's some of the things that you're looking forward to the rest of the year and maybe at the top of next year? What are some things you're really looking forward to?
Well, I'm excited to get back on the road. I'm about to announce a lot more tour dates this fall, which I'm super excited just to get back out to the fans and do that. And then I'm also excited about a lot of new music. I've been kind of releasing a song every 4 to 6 weeks. Now that I'm an independent artist, I'm fully independent. I own my songs, my records, just switched management, all kinds of stuff. But I feel very, it's scary at times because you're doing it all.
But you feel in control.
But I feel so in control, and I'm so thankful to now all I have to do is listen to the few people on my team and my fans. And that's what it should always be. That's what labels should do, is listen to the fans. But I'm excited about continuing to put out music and to see what, the fans gravitate towards and going back on the road. And honestly, I feel like my career right now is, I have a really great foundation, but there's still a lot of this picture that is going to be painted into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see, because I don't have all the answers to that, but I'm excited to see what that, what this canvas turns into. Like,
you're just hitting your stride.
Cool.
And not only that, you're just hitting your stride now with being independent.
Yeah.
And that changes everything.
Changes the game.
And I'm curious to know, will all the upcoming singles,
Yeah.
will they all have music videos? Because after that last music video that we just watched like a couple days ago, I mean, how are you gonna top that one?
I don't know. I'm trying, man. So I did Broken One. Broken One's a song that I released in January about my husband. Like, it's like a love song to him. And so Broken One had my family in it. It did so well. And I was like, well, listen, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not going to have a random actor, you know, with his shirt off when, first of all, I already have an attractive husband. Mm-hmm. So, and then we did this video. Now it's great. So I just told him he's hired for all my videos.
There you go. I love it. Hey, well, you know, RaeLynn, I appreciate you so much for coming on to the Heart of the Gulch.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
Thank
hey.
you for having me.
Absolutely. So my name is Tony Mendoza. We are still in the Heart of the Gulch until they tear down this building. But I will see you guys next time.